Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How are you? How y'all doing? Turn this TV down so you can really hear what I have to say on tonight. For those of you who may be interested, some may not be interested, some are interested. But my topic tonight is on depression. It's robbing so many people of their happiness, their day-to-day chores, their day at work, um, their fun. Depression is just robbing so many people, so many things. So I came on tonight to share a few of my testimonies and to try and help those of you who may be dealing with depression from time to time. Now, let me say this because I don't want nobody coming on here preaching to me. I am not magnifying depression. I am not giving the devil no credit over depression. I'm just simply coming on to talk about something that so many people are going through. On last week, I got so many inboxes. I'm depressed. I got so many texts. I'm depressed. What do I do? And it does hurt when you have another brother or you have another sister that's hurting, when you have someone that is hurting and you don't quite know what to do. But I was able to empty myself and I was able to say to them, Cam, I was able to say to them, you can make it. Why? Because I've been there. I've been in the situation that you find yourself in today. I find myself from time to time in situations that I didn't know how I was going to come out of for one reason or another. For one reason or another, I found myself in that situation. But you know what was the hardest for me? The hardest for me, if I have to be honest about it, was not really going through the depression. The hardest thing for me is not having nobody to talk to. Because if you go to someone at church and you say, I am so depressed, I don't know what to do, the first thing they're going to try to do is quote a scripture to you. Well, the Bible says, oh, we know what the Bible says. But sometimes you just need to listen to people. Sometimes you just need to hear people out. Sometimes people just need you to listen to them, not all the time preach to them. We preach to people. The Bible said this, and the Bible said this, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. Sometimes we just need to listen, and we need to be real. Because 9 times out of 10, when somebody's talking to you in some kind of way, you have experienced that too. Maybe not be the same situation, but you have experienced a level of depression. So I said, Loretta, what am I going to do about it? Because I know what it is to hurt. I know what it is to hurt. I know what it is to feel like no one cares. I know what it is to feel like I can't talk to anybody because everybody think I got it together and I don't have it together. I know what it is to be home crying all day. I know what it is to be up all night crying all day. I know what it is to ask the question, why? Why is this happening to me? Get down. Get down, Cam and Angel. Y'all excuse me. I know what it is to feel like everybody's getting ahead and you're being left behind. And all those kind of things like that will mess with your mind if you have been faithful in what you have been doing. If you've been faithful and you've been doing the best that you can Yes, it will mess with your mind. You've been waiting for that promotion. You didn't get it. Somebody else got it. When you go to work early, you stay late, you give a stellar award winning job duty while you there, and then they bring somebody else and give them the job based on their looks or based on who they know. That's depressing. That's depressing. You're in love with this man, been in love with him for years, gave him your heart, wanted to marry him. He didn't want to marry you. And then, less than 6 months of you and him separating, he's married to somebody else. It's depressing. It's depressing. It's a lot of things in life that can throw us off guard and depress us. Well, I'm going to walk you through where I was, and maybe this can help somebody. I only share it when I feel a need to share it, but I have a book on it, and this is not to sell my book. If you buy it, fine. If you don't, that's still fine. I got it all laid out in there, because when I went to, in 2011, from 2011 to 2013, when I went through those 15 surgeries in 7 months, it left me, because my body went through so much trauma, it left me with a form of PTSD, and it left me also with a little bit of my memory loss. And sometimes people have to make me know things or bring back to remembrance the things that I'm talking about. And at that point in my life, when I went in surgery, I was a jack of all trades. Get out of here! I was a jack of all trades. I don't think that there is nothing that I couldn't do. I was here, I was there, I was everywhere. Doing this in the community, doing that in the community, doing that concert, doing this in the church. And so when I had those surgeries and I got out and I was in a wheelchair and I couldn't walk and I couldn't do anything but sit there. Then God graduated me from the wheelchair to the walker, and then I graduated from the walker to the cane. But even though I was able to walk again, mentally I was messed up. Mentally I was challenged because I kept going over and over of the things that happened to me while I was in the hospital. Oh God. I could not understand why me. I could not understand why did I have to go through all of that. I went in for a simple knee replacement. So why did I have to end up going through what was supposed to be one surgery, end up be 7? And why I was at a job that I loved doing, why I could not continue to work my job. Well, one of the reasons I couldn't do it, because when I went back to work, I couldn't remember. It was just like I was looking at that computer for the very first time in my life, and I barely knew how to turn it on because that's what, mentally, that's what state I was in. So then that took me through a state of depression. People started calling back on me to MC programs. Having the MC programs, and most of the times end up sitting on stage because my legs or my knees would bother me, was embarrassing, and I was in my early 50s at that time. And then sometimes, dealing with the things that some of the people say to you, it was horrible. So I said, Loretta, what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about this? Nobody understood. I was crying every day. I was crying every night. That's when I went and got my 2 dolls because, dolls are very good for therapy. And I went and got them, and they've been a blessing. But another thing I did, I talked to my pastor. And I said, Pastor Jackson, my orthopedic doctor recommended that I see a psychiatrist and a counselor. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I ain't doing that. Because, you go see a psychiatrist or a counselor, that mean you crazy. No, that's not what that mean. That mean you want to get well. That mean you want to get help. That mean you're going to somebody who will understand you and help pull that hurt and all of that pain and all that frustration out of you, because they are trained in that way to do it. Well, I've been going now for about 2 years. And every day I go to my counselor 1 month, then I go to my psychiatrist 1 month. And when I leave out of there, it's just like I'm floating on air, because you have somebody that you can talk to who understands you, who can tell you medically what you need to do. And God placed me with 2 born-again believers. Psychiatrist is born again, counselor is born again. And not only do they put that word to me, what the doctor say, but they also put that word to me, what the Bible say. And they just walks me through it. And it has helped me so much. And I don't have any regrets. Sometimes, you go to church or you be in places and you hear people say, oh, she crazy, he crazy, they need to see a psychiatrist. Be careful with those words, because you don't really know what you're saying. You don't really know what you're saying that could tip somebody over the edge when you say that. Because I can tell you, I know I'm a very intelligent lady. I'm very intelligent. I am very smart. But I thank God for the psychiatrists, and I thank God for the counselors. We are afraid of what people are going to think of us. So let me ask you this. Do you want to choose to be sad and depressed all the time and worry about what your friends want to say, or do you want help? That's a simple question. Those of us who go to church, we have people sit beside us every Sunday that's depressed. We have people that's in our circle that's depressed. We have people that you see jumping down in church praising the Lord that are depressed. But you know what? They can't tell you that they're depressed, because the first thing you're going to do is start preaching to them. The first thing you're going to do, well, the Bible said this. What you need to do is listen at what they have to say. Listen. Have an ear to listen. And when you listen at what they're saying, God will give you the answer to give to them. And it won't be by beating the Bible over their heads. It won't be that. When I had those people to call me last week and they said, I'm so depressed, I never thought I'd be depressed. I said, baby, I've been there. I said, God can bring you out. I've been there. I said, you're looking at a miracle. You're looking at a miracle. But you got to, a couple things you have to do. You have to, number one, surround yourself with positive people. You don't need to be around nobody negative and you're going through depression. You don't need to be around nobody negative. You need to stay in that word. You need to find everything in that Bible that pertains to God's love and God's peace. And then you got to have you some praise and worship music, or whatever kind of music you like, as long as it's positive. It's got to be positive. And then you got to change your atmosphere in your surroundings. If you're home, put it on blast. If you're at work and you got one of them CD-ROMs where you can put the CD in, change your atmosphere in your office. When your mind start wavering, change that atmosphere by everybody, excuse me, I think got a cell phone. Put it on YouTube. YouTube has some good teachings on there. YouTube have some dynamic teachings. If you can't have that kind of stuff at work, you can go on YouTube, and they have what they give us in when we go to our psychiatrist sessions, water screams that you can listen to that eases your mind, like you are laying by a stream of water. You'll be surprised how comforting that is. Just listening to the water scream. It has something that connects to the brain that will help you relax yourself. Depression does not have to kill you. It does not have to kill you if you take these messages that I'm giving you out tonight. But if you hold it in, you don't want to tell nobody about it. You don't want to tell nobody about it because you're too embarrassed. You don't want to tell nobody about it because you're a preacher and you know you're supposed to be giving a good word for everybody else. You don't want to tell nobody about it because you're a missionary and you're supposed to be helping somebody else. You don't want to tell nobody about it because you're an icon in the community and people expect you to be strong. Forget about all that. There's help out there for you, and you get your help. And for those people who are going to stick with you, they are going to stick with you through those hard times. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I went through and still go through anxiety attacks. That's why I don't be around all kind of negative people, because negative things bring it on. Um, I don't like to, I know how to pray for sick people, but I don't like to too much go to hospitals and see people laying there on their deathbed. But I know how to pray for them. But see, those kind of things brings on anxiety for me. So I learn how to stay away from those kind of things that brings on the anxiety attack. And you know, if I'm around somebody and everything come out of their mouth, she thinks she's something, he thinks she's something, and all that kind of stuff like that, baby, you're gonna see me get up and move. You're gonna see me get up and leave, because see, I don't want to be a part of anything that's gonna steal my peace. I don't want to be around anybody that's gonna steal my peace. And I want you to know, somebody in your family, somebody on your job, somebody in your church is suffering with depression, and you have the ability to help them. You have the ability to help them. And sometimes the only thing a person needs is a hug. Sometimes the only thing a person needs, instead of you walking in church, sitting down in your seat, person sitting right beside you, you sit down, you don't even speak. Only thing they need for you to do is to smile at them and say good morning. You'll be surprised what that'll do. You'll be surprised how that will reach out to them and they will feel like somebody care. You'll be surprised. But we are so busy doing nothing. We are so busy going nowhere. And we got people out here dying every day. We got people that needs us. We got people that needs us. Hear me now. We got people that need us. Now, you may not even go through it. You may never go through it. But you can't tell me that you don't know anybody who haven't went through depression. And depression will rob you of all the happiness that you have, all the energy and everything else. But you can make it out of it. You can come out of it. You know, I wrote a book, and it did pretty good. But I'm going to tell you something. I sent my book to a politician, one of the local politicians here, and I can't call the name because I don't want to get in trouble. And they never read my book. Well, there was a movie star who wrote the same book that I wrote, and I happened to be on their Twitter page. and they was talking about well needed because depression is at an all-time high, and just praise that person book. So I wanted to know what difference did he have in his book than I had in my book. So you can go online and buy the book. He don't have anything different. He had nothing different than I had in my book. The only difference between him and me is that he is famous and I am a no name. I didn't say nobody, a no name. The same thing he had in his book, the guidelines to help people, I had in mine. But because he have name recognition, they are pushing his book. But let me tell you something. It will sell. And it's got good stuff in it. It's got stuff that I go through. It's got information that I gather when I go to my counseling sessions. It's got information in there when I go to my psychiatrist and things that they give to help me. I wanted to share them with somebody else because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real with y'all tonight. I almost lost it. Loretta Coleman, who they call the Queen of Gospel, Loretta Coleman, the radio announcer, Loretta Coleman, the preacher, Loretta Coleman in the community, I almost lost it mentally. And if I had not sought help, I would have lost it. If I would have listened to the naysayers in my ears, you don't need to do that because you're a Christian, I would have lost it. If I would have listened to those friends, some of those friends that was around me saying, trust God, that's very true. That's very true. We got to trust God in everything we do. But God places doctors here on earth too that can help us, that are trained to help us. But I went to my pastor and I said, Pastor Jackson, my doctor wants me to see a psychiatrist and I have a problem with that because they say crazy people go to psychiatrists. He said, don't listen to that. He said, just like God places people here to help people with diabetes and cancer and other things, he places people here to help people who are having mental challenges. And that's all I needed to hear because I believe my pastor and I love my pastor and I trust his guidance. And I'm telling you, I feel good. Do I have my days? I certainly do. I have my days. I had one today. But I'm okay right now because, I have medication I take. And I have to lay down and I have to quieten myself and get myself from around a whole bunch of foolishness. And when I wake up, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But let me tell you, I want to tell y'all something if you decide to do this. It's not good to tell everybody that you're going to be on medication because then they're going to say, oh, that's that medication got her crazy. The tongue don't know what to say sometimes. The tongue really don't know what to say. And people who call themselves so deep and Holy Ghost filled, they don't know what to say. They say the wrong thing. So you don't have, if you go to a psychiatrist or a counselor and you get on medication, you don't have to tell nobody that. That's between you, God, and that counselor. Because, see, you have some people out here who are so, don't have a heart. Let me put it that way. They don't have a heart of compassion. And they'll say anything. And so you got to know. And you want to get better. And I'm happier now than I've ever been. And you know what it's done for me? I used to sit down and I used to worry about who like me and who don't like me. And I used to worry about, well, this one don't talk to me anymore and that one don't talk to me anymore. I care less now. Actually, I'm glad they gone. Now I hope y'all don't think that's bad. I really hope y'all don't think that's bad. But when you got to walk on eggshells with people, and every time you turn around, you got to explain yourself to that person. Every time you turn around, it's something you said or you acted this way towards me, or you didn't do for me what you did for that person, I am glad that person is out of Loretta Coleman's life, because it gave me a level of peace. And that's one thing that I don't have to deal with anymore. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you know somebody who is battling with depression, help them. Give them information. Buy books for them. Have them to read it over and over, just not one time, but over and over until they get it into their system, because it will make a difference. It will make a difference. I would not be able to function. I would not be able to function if I had not taken these guidelines. I wouldn't be able to function. But God. But God. And depression comes for many reasons, but one of the main reasons is the devil realizes so much that you have to offer, and he want to try and destroy what God is building in you. But see, you got to know the difference. You got to know that you're being attacked. You got to know you're being attacked. And can I just be real, y'all? Just let me be real. Yeah, you're going to hurt when you lose that man or woman that you've been with for years that you loved. Yes, you're going to hurt when you lose that job that was the job of all times. Yes, you're going to hurt when you lose that house that you bought and you couldn't end up paying for it. Yes, you're going to hurt when you lose that car. Yes, you're going to hurt when you have that son or that daughter who just won't listen. Yes, it's going to hurt when you worked all of these years for your education and you're on the job and they're giving, because you're not in the clique, they're giving the job that's really for you to somebody else. You are going to hurt. That will depress you. But that's during the times when you have to surround yourself with positive things and people. And you got to know that God could be very well protecting you from that job. Even though it's a job making good money, the higher you go, Lord have mercy on me, the more evil people you're going to meet. The higher you go, the more evil people you're going to meet. Now, don't go and say that I call people in high positions evil. That's not what I said. But as you go higher, you're going to meet some people that you never would have thought in a million years that would be the way that they are. Because you was down there. You wasn't working with them. You wasn't working around them. So you didn't really know how they were. But when you begin to work for them, oh, you better ask somebody. You better ask somebody. So there's so many things that can cause depression, but you don't have to stay there. You do not have to stay in that state of depression. It's an everyday work. It's almost like you're going to a job. You got to make sure to feed that mind with positive stuff every day. You got to make sure to distance yourself from those people who are always talking about somebody else. It's never them, but it's always somebody else. You need to distance yourself from them people. I've distanced myself from people that I've been with for 20 years and they can't understand. But when I listen to them talk, it's always somebody else and it's never them. It's always somebody else. It's never them. It's always somebody else's family, never their family. I can't deal with stuff like that. I can't deal with stuff like that. And then what I have, let me see, what's the word? I have changed my outlook. I tend to go for the underdog, and I tend to help the underdog. those that people consider a nothing, those that people consider an outcast, those that people consider and tell that they will never be anything because of their mistakes. That's a mission that I'm on. And you know why I choose to do that? Because that's what they said about me. They said I'll never be nothing. They said I'll never amount to anything. But God proved them wrong. But God proved them wrong. They said I would never do nothing because of my mistakes that I made around 2003 to 2004. They said I'll never bounce back. But because I trusted God, He allowed me to grow right in front of their face. And people look at me and they say, but she did. But how can she get this? How can she be respected here when this happened in 2003 or 2004, 2005? Because I trust God, baby. I trust God. And I don't care how low you have been. If you trust God, He can bring you out. I don't care how depressed you are. If you trust God, He can bring you out. But you got to trust Him. And you got to buy you some books of encouragement. Get you some books. I hope one of mine will be one that you get on Depression, the Silent Killer. Mine is Depression. You can go on Amazon and get it. Depression, the Silent Killer. Depression is real, but so is God. Depression is real, but so is God. Because see, here's what I'm talking about in my book. Yes, depression is real, but God is real too. You go to God, you have that relationship with Him. Okay, God, this is where I'm at today. I'm as depressed can be. God, I'm so depressed that I don't know what to do. I can't make it today, God, without you. I can't make it today, God, without your help. I cannot go any further without your help. And guess what? You'll feel His strength coming in on you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Let me tell you something. On my Facebook page earlier, I think it was Friday night, I put this on there. And I guess everybody is always giving me something. But certain times I will put certain things up there. Those are the times that I was depressed. And I went to this concert Friday night. And this lady had a beautiful bag. And she gave it to me. That gave me the ammunition that I needed. You understand what I'm saying? Sunday, I was at the radio station. Somebody told me to open the front door. Just handed me a box. It was a box of shoes with a pair of Michael Kors flat shoes in them because they know I have problems with my knees. Encouragement. God knows that I needed that. Today, I went to see this old lady. And I actually went. Okay, what happened here? What's going on here? Can y'all see me? Because something happened. Oh, the devil is a liar. Y'all don't go nowhere. Because we going to finish this message. Oh, we going to finish it. Oh, here we go. She said that she had me some pears that she had canned. So I went to get my pears, my preserves. So she said, well, I'm just a little bit behind time. And she said, but I'll get them to you. And she said, but I got something to tell you. She said, stay right there. And when she came to my car, she dropped a $20 bill down in my lap. Now, she didn't know I didn't have no money. I didn't even have $1. That gave me the encouraging boost that I needed. Oh, y'all better listen. See, God know what you need, and even though that was just $20 to me, that was like $20,000. So I'm trying to get y'all to trust God where you're at and appreciate where you're at. You understand what I'm saying? That $20 to me meant just as much as I got $20,000. Now somebody saying that's a lie. No, it's not, because that was enough money that I needed to put some gas in my car to make it to next week when I get my disability check. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope I'm helping somebody. And then I came on back home and I laid down because I had took my medication and I was a little sleepy. Then my sister talked to me on the phone and I wasn't feeling good. How about she bought me chicken broccoli casserole over here because I didn't feel like cooking. Some days I just don't feel like cooking. And see, God always have a way to send somebody your way. Let me tell you something. And I'm being real as I can be today. I had put out a thing about my back to school things, and this is good. So listen to this. I had put out a thing on Facebook on all three of my pages about collecting back to school supplies, because I don't get to do the projects now that I used to do. So, and then when I was working, I would just go and buy them. It just when I wouldn't be doing no begging, no acts and stuff like that, because I didn't want to go through that. But I was on live with Carol Foster on Saturday. And this lady that lives in New Haven, Connecticut, never met her in my life, never seen her or anything. She said, I have a whole big tote box of school supplies if I can just get them to you. Then they came up to the conclusion that they're going to all chip in so she can mail the school supplies down here to me. So I have school supplies to give away. That's one testimony. A lady in Charlotte, don't know me, but was listening to the broadcast. School supplies, never seen her. School supplies. So see, when you trust God, He will cause things to come your way. 9 times out of 10, it won't be those people that you think it's going to be. It won't be them, because, I have to be honest. They'll talk about you. They'll say, there she go again, there she go again. But God will cause a stranger to bless you. He will cause a stranger to bless you, and all of that will encourage you. All of that will encourage you. I'm telling you, I want y'all to be encouraged so much. And during your down days, you don't have to stay down. Just make sure you feed that spirit with something positive. I have people laughing sometimes because I'm a Steve Harvey lover. I love him. I love Family Feud. I love his talk show. I like Apollo. I like everything because he makes me laugh. But some days I can't listen to Steve Harvey because what he's saying is actually irritating to me. So I have to find me something that's going to have to feed me where I'm at. You understand what I'm saying? I love Judge Judy. Judge Judy can't make it laugh. Something really wrong. I can laugh, but some days Judge Judy is not what I need. Some days Judge Judy is not what I need. I need to find me. I need to go through YouTube, and I need to find me a word that's going to help me in my situation. Or I need to find me a song that's going to minister to me. I'm telling you, y'all, depression is real, but so is God. There's help out there for anybody who may find themselves in a situation, in a circumstance, and it seems like you can't get out. And you're too embarrassed to tell people because of your, because of who you are in the community or who you may be on your job. But I don't care who knows that about me, and I'm in the community. Because, see, I can tell them, if it wasn't for God, I probably would be sitting in a hospital somewhere rocking. If it wasn't for God's grace, I would be sitting somewhere rocking. But I was directed to someone that could help me. And now I can help somebody else. But if we do not deal with this thing that's called depression, it's going to hurt a lot of people. If we don't take time and deal with it in our churches, deal with it in our civic organizations, deal with it in our homes, deal with it in our schools, it's going to hurt a lot of people. Every child that acts up is not acting up because they're bad. You have some children, some teenagers that act up because they're depressed. But then when you go to mama, you go to daddy and say, I'm so depressed. Oh, I rebuke that in Jesus' name. That's fine. That sounds good. But before you do all that, you take time to listen to them so you can see where their head is, so you can see what it is that's really bothering them. Because you do know that a lot of people commit suicide because they couldn't get nobody to listen to them. Y'all do know that, right? Oh, yeah. Well, I can't get nobody to listen, so, the heck with it. Listen without opening your mouth. Listen to them first. Listen to them first. Let them talk. And most of the time, what we say is not going to make sense. Notice I said we. But once we get it out and once we talk to people, we're going to hear ourselves and we're going to say, you know what? That didn't sound right, what I just said. And then you ain't going to have to preach the Bible to them. Because when you're talking to somebody and somebody really have your attention, you hear what you say. You hear what you say. And you're going to say, oh, God, many times I said, Loretta, that was so stupid. Did you hear what you said, Loretta? That was so stupid. So learn to listen. Listen. Listen to your children. Listen to your spouses. Listen to your siblings. Listen to your co-workers. Listen to your church members. There's people out there that's waiting for you to listen. There's somebody out there waiting on you for you to let them know, baby, it's okay to go see a counselor. I told somebody that must have been about a month ago, and they looked at me. I said, yeah, I go. They said, you, Loretta Coleman, the gospel queen, you go see a counselor? I said, oh, yeah. I go, and I look forward when I go, because when I leave there, I have answers, and I feel good about myself. And then they have all kind of literature for you, all kinds of literature that can help you. There were times I thought I was in the quicksand, those of you who know what quicksand is. And quicksand will sink you, and you'll go under. But you know what? God, I will always get right here to the neck, and then God would just pull me out. He would just pull me out. And see, another thing that you got to have when you're going through depression, you got to know how to pray. You got to know how to pray and talk to God about your situation. And see, some of us have prayer wrong. Some of us think prayer is humming and singing and all that. If that's the way you do it, fine. But you don't have to do all that to reach God. Simple prayer. Lord, have mercy on me. Do you know God knows just what that means? Lord, have mercy on me. Lord, I need you now. Simple stuff. Not that stuff that we hear. I need you now, God. I need your covering now, God. I need you to cover my mind that I won't think the wrong thing. I need you to cover my ears that I won't hear the wrong thing. Cover my mouth that I won't say the wrong thing. You got to be able to pray and then believe that. But if I said nothing else to help you today, know that you can overcome depression. You're not gonna overcome it in one night, not unless the Lord work an instant miracle, which He can. It may take months. It may take a couple of years. I've been battling with it since 2011. But look at me. Oh yeah. Can I brag a little bit? You look at me on Sunday mornings when I put my hat, my clothes on. Do you think I'm depressed? Sometimes I'm so depressed I don't know how I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, but I refuse to be defeated. You got to make efforts. You can't sit home from church and pull the cover over your head and lay in bed and cry all day. You got to get out there and you got to go. You got to go when you don't feel like going. And you got to do when you don't feel like doing it. And then you got to fake it until you can make it. Now somebody might say that's bad. No. You don't have to, because you're having a bad day, what I mean, you don't have to go out there and say, oh me, I'm having a bad day. No, when you see somebody, how you doing, Sue? Oh, I'm doing fine. How you doing? You have a blessed day now. You understand? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Oh, glory to God. I know God told me to do this because, see, there's so many people that's stuck in depression and they can't tell nobody. Find you a counselor. Find you a psychiatrist. If you try to talk to somebody and ask somebody who's a good one and they say the blood of Jesus, you don't need to go, leave that person there and go find you another person. Oh, glory to God. I'm just telling you, God has been good to Loretta Coleman. God has been good to me. I have been emceeing a program. And I like to interact with the audience and give away things and give away prizes and stuff like that. And by the time I can get back to my seat, I feel that panic attack coming on. And I start praying till I get back to my seat. And then I get my pill and I take my pill, have something to drink. And by the time the next group is finished singing, I'm okay. But you can't stop because you're going through those things. I got to keep going until God decides to heal Loretta Coleman or show forth the manifestations. I got to keep going. I have to keep going. And I want to say to you, keep going. If you're a person that sings, keep singing. If you're a person that preaches, keep preaching. If you're a person that works in the community, keep working in the community. If you're a jack of all trades, keep being a jack of all trades. But sometimes, just don't be surprised when them people don't want to be around you that you love so much. And that you appreciate so much, because you're going to be a different person. And they're going to think you've changed. And they're going to think you ain't funny. You haven't changed. And you haven't ain't funny. You've just come into a different reality about life. A different reality. And everybody is not going to be able to accept where God is taking you. And sometimes he uses things. Look at Job. Job went through sickness after sickness after sickness. But when God brought him out, he brought him out and gave him double for his trouble. Job faithful fine, and two of them three friends came there and tried to get him to cuss God and die. That's why you got to be careful who you have hanging around you. You got to be careful who you have hanging around you. Listen to what people say. If you got somebody that's always telling you, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. If I were you, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. Learn to listen to God and what God tell you to do. Yes. I do wish y'all would order my book. Amazon.com. Depression is real, but so is God. It has helped me. It It has helped me. And when I find myself wanting to slip back, I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to read it some more because it gives you steps to take. It gives you things to do when you find yourself slipping back in that mind. To God be the glory. I hope this helps somebody. I really do. But most of you that watch me tonight would have said, I never thought Loretta Coleman would have gone through anything like that. I never ever thought that Loretta Coleman would have been challenged with anything like that. But yeah, been there. We're just there today. But God was just there today. But God was just there today. But God. So look at me and look at me good. And then you go back and you look at my page and you can say, this girl look really happy. She look like she's really got it going on. I am happy, but I have my days. Do you understand what I'm saying? But through reading and through counseling, I know what to do when those days come along. I know what to do. And I want to say to people, watch your words, what you say to people. What you think is something simple is something that really can take somebody over the edge. Do you understand what I'm saying? What you think is simple is really something that can take somebody over the edge or cause somebody to go in a state of depression. Everything is not for you to say. Some things are only for you to pray about. You understand what I'm saying? Some things are just for you to pray about. I've enjoyed this session on depression. If you feel like it, pass it along. If you don't, pass it along. But I know what I'm talking about because I know the inboxes that I get. It's a lot of people need help, and I'm here to help. I'm here to help save lives and to share my testimony. And let me tell you, I had told the Lord, if I had got people that would have really sewn into my books and I would have sold enough and been satisfied, somebody could have called me and say, Loretta, can I have one of your books? I don't have any money, and I would have mailed it to them. But you know, people always think you're trying to get rich. They think you're trying to get rich. They think you're trying to get a Mercedes, a new house because you're robot. No, I want people to be helped. I want people to know that there is help out there for depression. But see, it's the way people mind think. They not thinking, well, if I buy a couple of these books, she can give them away to people that she know that I may not know who going through it. But instead of that, what they do, I ain't paying her my money. She ain't getting rich off my money. How in the world you gonna get rich off a couple of dollars? Come on now, let's think about it. Let's think about that. How you gonna do that? Somebody need that book. And you know what? You have that person on you may have that person on at your job. At your job. And you know, at the job they don't like for you to talk about they don't like for you to talk about religious stuff. You have that book, you lay it on the corner of your desk, you lay it on the corner of their desk, they don't know who laid it there. And you know what? It can help them. It can help them. It can help them. But we got to be willing to make a sacrifice. We got to be willing to give of ourselves. You hear me? Do you hear me? You know, I know I keep saying I'm going to get off, but All of this, I feel that I'm saying is going to help somebody. I'm going to tell you one thing that really depresses me. And I had to tell a good friend. They're a good friend to me. Been friend for me for years. When I put my Cash App, my PayPal up, and I ask for donations, then they'll send me an inbox. Take that down. You don't want people to think you begging. I ain't begging. I'm on a mission. I want to help people. I want to help people. I want to help people in many ways. I want to help people. And then you have people that will join them and get on there and say that Loretta Coleman always had some money. You don't know what $10 can buy 2 books. You don't know that $10 can get a bag of school supplies for a child. You don't know. Just like when that woman gave me that $20 today, that was a blessing to me for my gas tank. But we run our mouths and we think people trying to get ahead. We got to stop that. Because you know what? The same thing that you are praying for, the same thing that you're waiting for God to do for you, that job release, that child to be obedient, that husband or that wife, for y'all to come together, for that promotion, for that breakthrough and that money. Many of you are not going to get it until you learn how to share what God has already given you. You hear me? Can I say that again? Many of you are not going to get it because you're too tight in what he's already given you. You don't share. Well, you may say, well, Loretta, I pay my tithes and I pay my offerings in my church. There is so much more to do. The 4 consecrated walls is taken care of. But what about the ministry that's out here in the highways and byways that nobody's going to? It takes money to reach them people. It takes things to reach, but we don't want to give. We don't want to give because we think somebody's trying to get ahead. But I told my friend, I said, listen, you laugh at me now, but I'm going to put it up from time to time, and a millionaire going to come across it and put $1 million or more in it. And I believe that, and nobody can't tell me no difference because God knows the mission that I want to do in the community, and he knows what it takes for me to do it. Because I really want to be able to go around to different churches and clubs and share my story on depression and help somebody. That's what I really want to do. I want to be able to go around and share and have real talk with them and let them know, this is just a little bit of what I've given you tonight. But there's so much more. There are times when I was suicidal. I didn't want to live. And when I would get ready to cut that wrist, the doorbell would ring. And when I opened the door, the person would say, God sent me here because you was getting ready to do something you didn't have no business doing. See, what I'm telling you tonight is the tip of the iceberg. And I'm going to tell the story. God going to make a way. Oh, he going to do that. And I will not give up. They can naysay, say, I don't know if they know words or not, criticize, say, or what. But I'm going to make it, and I'm going to have the necessary means that I need to go around and talk to people about depression. I want to save people's lives. I want to help people live. I want people to know that they can live until God brings forth their healing with this thing called depression that they're going through. I want people to know that they can be healed, they can be delivered, and they can function until God brings forth their healing. Hallelujah. I'll talk to y'all again next week. But I had to come on and say that because it's pressing me. It's pressing me. It's pressing me. And one day last week, let me say this, and then I'm going to somebody put on Facebook, I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. And then here go the scriptures. Here go the scriptures. Here go the scriptures. They must have preached the Bible from the front to the back. But you know what nobody did? Because I went down the line. Nobody took the time to listen. Nobody took the time to listen to see what was wrong with her. But you know what I said to that person? You can make it. I've been there. Wasn't no use for me to preach to her. Just tell her, you can make it. I have been there. Hallelujah. Y'all be blessed. Have a good night.